Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Professor Barry here. We are nearing the end of the class. Covered a lot of ground this term. We recall back the first start of the term, just kind of exploring what is sociology. We haven't worked with the theories too much, but just kind of laying out the idea of sociology, looking at that interaction between people and the environment, between people and the social setting, context, culture. There's so much to unpack. So we just kind of touched down the surface in a lot of topics this term, the degrowth economy, thinking about this mass consumption world that we've kind of entered into and are currently in. Talked about focused on the commons, the idea of the commons, Garrett Hardin's work on this idea of the tragedy of the commons that really took hold for a long period of time, and then the sort of focus on that commons can work and it can work with when there's participation among all the constituents who are involved in a space and managing space. And we've kind of moved on in different directions, and we're kind of going to end the class with some focus on urban planning. Last couple of weeks, we're focused on thinking about, man, how does the landscape of a community come to be, and what are the implications? So think about social disorganization theory, suburbanization, zoning laws, all these different kind of factors that influence the environments that we've been in and experienced ourselves. Maybe we don't know that history. We don't know the background of all that stuff. And so hopefully this class has just kind of opened up some perspective, some new ways of thinking, and it's got you more intrigued about the physical world, right? And how it kind of impacts our physical health, our mental health, the way that we kind of move throughout a particular place. So this is going to be a little bit short video. We're just going to touch the tip of the iceberg. I mean, urban planning is a huge area and subject, and my goal here is to introduce you to some ideas and hopefully kind of spur some thought, and then also to provide some information about some degree pathways and maybe career pathways if you're interested in this particular subject area or topic. Um, yeah, so at this point in the time in the term should be pretty obvious or pretty apparent when we talk about the environment, what we're talking about. We think about it sociologically, and the physical landscape, even I mean, that part of the environment. We usually think about the environment. We think about waterways. We think about the forest. We think about the physical kind of landscape. Well, when humans enter the landscape, we're going to start investigating or looking into, well, how do humans interact with that physical world? And that's a topic for anthropologists, sociologists, economists, historians. So I don't know, it just opens up this perspective that we think about the landscape and how humans interact with it. What we see in the landscape today was not inevitable. It's a reflection of culture, it's a reflection of politics, a reflection of a lot of different factors. And we're investigating those factors to better understand how humans interface with the environment and kind of the conditions that we've created. So once we get there, we open up that door to investigating, how the environment has become what it has become. We think about greenhouse emissions, we think about our carbon footprint. We think about impact of whatever it might be. It's always that relationship between from the small level individuals to groups to organizations and institutions, all the way up to thinking about regulations, thinking about all those things influenced by culture, time, and place. And we're going to have to address things like power, inequality, institutions and organizations that have a lot of political influence, the fossil fuel industry, how they're addressing issues of climate change. They have interests to protect. So, how are they protecting their interests? What strategies are they using to protect interest? What's the interest for the greater good versus what's the interest for particular institutions? And then we think about the private sector and the public sector, the relationship between private industry and the role of the state government, local government, county government, state government, and national government, and think about policies and how policies can work policies work to address human needs, and they also can work in different ways, sometimes to promote the collective good and sometimes to promote kind of more narrow interest. So the environment I want to leave with, the environment is a process. The environment just doesn't happen. You walk around in a national forest, how that forest is managed is a reflection of culture, time, place, people, et cetera, et cetera. So the more that we're aware of the process, I mean, the hope would be that we actually have more awareness of what's going on and we have more agency. We're more empowered to address issues related to the environment. So the more educated we are, the more informed we are, we're more aware of the process of how things become. We can act more consciously in deciding how we want to intervene within the environment itself. If you're interested in any topic related, if you're interested in sociology of the environment, if you're interested in social policy, I think social policy is a great kind of avenue, a degree pathway, oftentimes leading to a master's degree. There's a lot of job opportunities in social policy, and they could be related to the environment or not. They could be social policy that are looking at housing, looking at affordable housing, looking at resources for the unhoused, mental health. There's just a lot of different focus for social policy. But I just wanted to let you know that there's degree programs in those areas with great career opportunities or job opportunities in those spaces. And then also for urban planning. Urban planning has been around for a long time, and it seems like it's going through this kind of rejuvenation or a new focus of, as with more and more people living in urban environments. This is true across the world. Urbanization is going on now at a higher level. There's more focus and intention of how do we create cities that are taking care of the physical and mental health needs of people. So how to create the livable city, the walkable city, cities that people participate in ways that bring a lot of meaning to them. So constructing more intentionally that idea of empowerment and agency, constructing environments to not only address the needs of commerce, but to address the needs of our physical and emotional needs. Yeah, and so a lot of opportunities, in terms of urban planning, development at the local level, state level, and even national level. So if you want to set up a meeting, if you want to talk in more detail, I'm always open for that. Just drop me an email. We'll set up a meeting. We can talk about educational and career pathways. I don't have a lot of content to cover before you read the material or review the material for this particular week. Like I said, our focus is on urban planning. I have one chapter, it's a chapter from a larger book addressing kind of urban planning from a more socialist perspective. And I just thought really thought-provoking this particular author, Tom Magadi. There are certain pages, there's a document, it's fairly long, but there's one particular chapter I want you to read. It's called The Socialist City. And it's just pretty thought-provoking, I think. There's a lot of history in there that don't get bogged down in the history, but more just the concept and the idea of how governments can be involved and communities can be involved in developing a city that's more mindful of taking care of the needs of people living in that space. So that's the written document to read. And then there's a video, Seven Principles for Building Better Cities, about an interesting, thought-provoking conversation or TED Talk of Peter Calthorpe kind of walking through, man, here's some ways that we can design cities to make them better. And then you can choose one of the two things to review. Feel free to review both of them if you want. I encourage you to watch or the podcast. I mean, to expose yourself to both of them. I think both of them are really interesting. One of them is how to make our cities more walkable. And if you've ever been into different cities, you can notice that some cities it seems like more people are out, more people are out walking around, kind of enjoying the landscape, enjoying the people. There's more space for kind of gathering, and this kind of interview and conversation about the walkable city and its impact on our physical and mental health. And then I thought it was kind of interesting podcast, a book written by Graeber called Paved Paradise. And then this is an interview with him talking about his work, Paved Paradise. So I don't know, some good resources. There's so many different things that we could tackle in terms of urban planning, but this is just a couple, just to kind of hopefully get you thinking about this topic area and getting exposed to some more information. I wish you well. Have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to your assignments and the group discussion. All right, take care.